Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are returning again to the Flower Cup for our weekly broadcast. This week will be Baku, the legendary and relatively new street track, will be our destination tonight. Welcome again to another broadcast. Greg Jennings here, taking care of you as always, trying to navigate my way through the carnage and put on a good show, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So we are here in Baku, the legendary city on the Caspian Sea, or I guess on the coast of the Caspian Sea. Home to approximately 2.6 million people, with some buildings in the castle being almost 1,000 years old. So very, very interesting facts I have here. I've done some research. And of course, we are here anticipating a good race, one hopefully similar to the 2016 F1 race we did see, the very famous one where Daniel Ricciardo did take a dramatic victory with a race full of lots of action and drama. So hopefully we take some inspiration from that. And in terms of the track itself, we have 20 turns to navigate tonight, and it's just over 6 kilometers long. So because it looks like Kaz. Oh, Kaz is here. Okay. Sorry, bro. I didn't know if you're here or not. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyway, so 20 turns to navigate tonight, with lots of them being very, very dangerous. Of course, particularly turns 2, 3. The first couple turns at the start of the lap, and then turn 7, which I'll kind of dedicate my own segment to throughout the race tonight. And then, of course, the infamous castle section through turns 8 and 12. And then, arguably, one of the most dangerous and difficult turns on the entire track is the turn 15 downhill left-hander with kind of the wall directly ahead of the apex, very, very tight. That one, I'm sure, will catch some drivers out. And then we head to turn 16, which is the last major turn before the straight, which is obviously one of the longest straights in F2, I guess, or F1. And some drivers have been already informing me, just based on some of the testing they were doing, that the chicane through that straight section, turn 17 and 18, I believe it is normally, is a actual turn now. It's actually a very dangerous and easy to mess up turn that is completely going to alter your setup. So we'll see if anyone gets caught out there. Normally it's just an easy flat, barely turning the F1 car, but the F2 cars seem to struggle through there, which will of course hopefully give us some highlight moments that we will try and catch. Sometimes it's hard to catch them, they happen in an instant, but we will do our best here. And then of course we have some interesting circuit-specific information and breakdowns. We have particularly the rear tires being put under a lot of strain tonight. Most of these turns do have a slow acceleration zone out of them. There's not really any high-speed turns besides maybe the chicane at the end. So that will put a lot of stress on the rear tires in comparison to the front. And if you have a car that has a front-heavy balance, with the rear tires being more worn than the front, it makes it very, very difficult to drive very quickly. You easily lose traction, and what was once a flat-out, easy acceleration now takes several seconds longer and much more patience to navigate. So that will be a huge factor tonight. The F2 cars as well do eat up the tires a lot. And let's see if it warrants any extra pit stops. And I would say if there is an opportunity to pit, whether it be a safety car or like a gap or something presenting that, I would say it's generally a good idea to pit, because those tires are going to be destroyed tonight. And then, of course, we have the ever-present possibility of getting a safety car or a plethora of safety cars. Pretty much every race that I've taken part in on this track on these games has maxed out the safety car allowance basically in the game, which I believe for a race of this length, although this isn't a 50%er, I guess, but normal 50%er I believe is 4 or 5 safety cars. So maybe for these shorter races we'd see 2 or 3. Anyway, though, we are now getting started, getting ready for the action here. Do we have any notable new faces? Looks like Hemi has finally returned, so he's a good driver as always to keep an eye on. Tilmo is back. Hopefully he doesn't leave in 2 seconds like last race. We do have, of course, Hazy and Rami, your 2 championship contenders for the Drivers' Championship, are, of course, here with, I believe, a 13-point gap in between them. So that is in Hazy's favor. But Rami can easily claw that back. It's Baku, after all. Anything can happen. So yeah, that is still wide open at the top. We do have Zavgab and T-Bone as well, pretty much tied on points. I believe only 1 point separating them. So that's another battle. That's going to be for P3 to look out for. And then there are a couple other racers that are close to each other. Overall, nothing is set yet, and a lot of changes can happen, including, of course, at the very top. We do have Kaz and Krusty here again. But other than that, I don't really see anyone brand new or anyone that we haven't seen recently. A lot of the familiar Mushroom Cup household names are here, including Hemi, of course, Rami, Isasko, the infamous Isasko, Sweet Tej, Ali on a different account because for some reason he makes a new account instead of re-upping his old one. Don't ask me why. Kaz and Krusty, as mentioned earlier. Dastardly Daddy, the grandfather of the Mushroom Cup, is also here. Let's see what he can do. Zavgab is mentioned in the battle with T-Bone. Let's see how much separation they can get from each other tonight. Sicario, as always, continuing the battle with his fellow countryman Chenzo, looking to splash some more points. And from what I've been seeing, he is going to be your favorite tonight to take the win. So I'm going to go ahead and just say Chenzo will be your pole sitter. That is going to be my guess. Not to heap any pressure, but that's just what has been seen so far. And we are now ready to rock. Looks like we have some of the drivers in attendance as always, including Alvis Dumblebone, whose real identity shall remain anonymous, but you might be able to piece that one together. Here we go. One-shot qualifying, as always, will begin our event tonight, and we are going to be a sunny qualifying situation here, so no rain yet. Rain is definitely a possibility. This is kind of thought of as typically a drier, Middle Eastern style track, but it is next to the Caspian Sea, as mentioned earlier, so rain clouds can fly in all of a sudden, and I have a sneaking suspicion that might be on the cards tonight. That would be very exciting for us to sink our teeth into. But now we do have the drivers beginning to ready up, get those setup changes locked in. I think Parc Ferme is going to be off still, as it was last race, but that could be wrong. And the setup's going to be crucial here. Do you commit to the straight line speed, potentially sacrificing some long-term pace and some consistency through the corners? Let's see how the drivers shape up, as now we will get right into the flying lap right now. And let's get on board with Chenzo. Like I mentioned, he's my favorite for the pole position. And here he goes through turn 1 now. Kind of a short run into turn 1, so we probably won't be seeing that many crashes there, but we will be seeing some carnage here for sure. The very tight turn 2, which leads to the long straight down to the treacherous turn 3, where we do see a lot of drivers locking up in real life. Chenzo is climbing to the top with Hazy still being in the lead. How do they navigate through 3? You want to hit that curb on the inside, as Chenzo does, and Chenzo is on pole position currently, with Hemi now being the driver to challenge him. Looks like these two drivers are neck and neck, as now Hemi has taken the pole position, but anything can change through each corner. We do see some nice uses of the track there from Hemi, who does find some time on Chenzo through the chicane. And perhaps Hemi may be looking to actually qualify here. This is a rarity for him. He likes to normally start in the back, but he is now trying to navigate through the castle section, the infamous, dangerous, medium speed, slow speed corners, but he does fly through there nicely. Chenzo and Hemi are right next to each other. It's going to be really close. Let's see who gets the better turn 15, which will be the next real turn coming up here. The downhill left-hander, very, very dangerous. Hemi does get some good exit speed out of that, but Chenzo is right there with him. Wow. Oh, I heard a little bit of a lock up there. Let's see if Hemi can extend some advantages on Chenzo. And let's also see who has the straight line speed advantage. And yeah, I heard a little lift there, so the drivers are definitely on it. That is not a simple turn anymore by any means. And Hemi looks like was caught out by that. He's now lost the position to Zav, who is now behind Chenzo. And I think I've hit the money tonight, folks. Chenzo is going to take pole position here by just under 2/10 over Zav Gab. Hemi will be your third position, and he will be starting from the front, so that's a change for sure. And Hazy and Rami, your two leaders, are going to be in a solid position in 4th and 5th. So, nice lap there from Chenzo. Really used a lot of the track, and I think he's got a decent car in the straight as well. Let's see, though, what it looks like when the DRS opens. Behind Hemi, we have Hazy, who's 4/10 away from the pole sitter. And behind him is his contender that he's fighting, Rami. Followed by Bella, Zakario, Sweetie, Zudi, and T-Bone to round out the top 10, who is 2.2 seconds off the pace. Kevwood will start in 11th, which will actually be 11th when the race begins, as we're getting into our sprint race here with the two Nigerians, Isasko, Ali, lining up next to each other. Let's see if they can keep it clean. They have been coming together recently, which is quite ironic. Rasta, JJ, Krusty, Slowrack, Leader, Dastard, Tilmo, and Kaz will round out your grid with 21 drivers. And that is actually the maximum we can do in a race. We did think it was 22 last race, but that was due to some people leaving and coming in. So it is 21. We are full, and we are ready for some absolute mayhem here in Baku. We are entering now the fortress city, the city that has been around for, I believe it is almost 1,000 years now. But I'm telling you, the city has never seen any battle quite like the Flower Cup. We're in for it tonight, guys. I am very excited. And for the start immediately here, let's all think of turn 2 as kind of the melting point. What will happen there? Turn 1 is usually a relatively simple one. You can definitely go a lot of cars wide through there because it's a very wide turn with lots of runoff. But it really tightens up turn 2 quickly. And that braking zone comes very fast, especially when there's cars in front of you. So I'm predicting at least one driver won't make it past that turn, if I'm being honest. But we are now preparing for the formation lap. As always, it is now functional again. Gives us some time to settle in and see what the strategies are, as always. So we will do that right away. Turn on our usual information, of course, as well, to help us see the whole picture. And tires is where I'm going to look. So T-Bone did pick up P10, which hopefully will see him start in a position he can maintain in P1, but he is on those super softs, and I just don't know how those tires are going to fare with the rear tire wear demand tonight. You can see most of the drivers behind on the medium tire, which will definitely, I think anyway, be the better tire for the duration of this sprint. Of course, you're going to expect a yellow flag or a safety car or something, but I just don't know how much overtaking you can get done sometimes in a track like this. It is a lot of straights, but also there's a lot of places things can go wrong. And then, of course, continuing down, we do see Zav, Rasta, JJ, and Kaz start on the alternate super soft tire as well. Again, I am not sure how that's going to fare. If I was in the race personally, I would be on the medium. The highest runner on the medium is going to be Sicario, followed by Bella, Rami, Hazy, looking to continue their battle with Hemi behind them. And Zav Gab is sandwiched between the two talented drivers, Hemi and Chenzo. Let's see who gets on top there. And let's see what Kevwood can do. He's had some really good runs, some good races from lower down positions. Let's see if he can slice through some carnage and make up some spots and perhaps benefit from some safety cars. Anyway, though, let's get into the race now. As now we see the drivers getting their cars ready, getting the tire temperatures up, heading down turn 15 now. You can see a good camera angle here. Look how tight that turn is. You know, you can see how wide the cars are. There's really only a room for two cars, and that would be a very, very scary situation to go side by side there. So very, very tight corner. And then we head down the incredibly long straight here, which will probably catch some drivers out as we head through this chicane, which it looks to be not as straightforward as it normally is. And we slice right through the city, right next to the sea, with a very, very interesting track layout that produces a lot of excitement and a lot of unexpected results as well. I'm hoping we don't get too bogged down with the safety cars. It can obviously slow things down sometimes. At the end of the day, we are here to race. But let's see what carnage unfolds, as now T-Bone is looking to set the race off and get into his positioning here for the opening lap. I can't really see the grid from back here again. Another problem that clearly needs to be addressed, but probably won't be, because it's been in the game for a couple games now. Anyway, let's ride on board with Sweeties doing a huge burnout there. Really trying to set those tires up for success. One more. Is he going to do it? Yeah, there it is. And he's now rolling to his grid spot, which is going to be third. Who's in second there? Who is still going to come through the field? I'm not sure who that is. Zudi. Oh, yeah, of course it's Zudi. If you know Zudi, he likes to do that. Anyway, Zudi is now parking, and we are ready to go for the Flower Cup Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Some new faces, some old favorites. We are here. We are ready. How will this turn one unfold? Here we go for the 5 red lights. We are off. And T-Bone does get a decent enough start with Zudi right beside him, as we see Bella now on the outside of Rami and Sicario, who has some problems there. Hemi does slide through on the inside. What happens into turn 2, though? This is the dangerous one. Do we see any contact in the field? We do. We see some cars being pushed around. I think that was Isasko or Ali getting the worst of that. No driver is out, though, so that prediction was wrong. Zavgav and Chenzo are neck and neck into turn 3. Zavgav on the inside, more preferable line. But Chenzo holds his outside line and now has the inside for turn 4. Who will come out on top here? Some contact in the back with Chenzo hitting the rear end of Hemi, which puts Hemi under pressure from Zav. And Zav's now on the inside into 5. Wow, this is some crazy racing already. And Hemi and Zav and Chenzo are locked in a huge battle as we head to the turn 7, turn of death. Will anyone miss the breaking point here? Hemi and oh my goodness, Zav pushing the limits with Hemi going beside Bella almost. As now we head into this castle section. Hopefully no one is side by side through here. The battle does continue. Wow, what an opening lap we see there. We did see Zudi navigate by T-Bone as well, with Zudi now pushing that gap up to an 8/10 advantage. Sweet Teej is going to be right behind Bone. And oh, Hemi and Bella went side by side in turn 15. I told you it was a bad idea, folks. You see why. Hemi getting some contact with Chenzo, I believe, and then the virtual safety car came out right when that happened. Maybe that was due to that. Hemi did lose 3 spots there because of that moment. Wow, that was an aggressive idea. That takes some balls. Let's see if these super soft racers hop off these tires. It's just a virtual, but again, I'm just not sure how those tires are going to fare. But no one is going to take it besides T-Bone and Sweet Teej, who make contact into the pit lane. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what have I just seen? Sweet Teej definitely needed to back out there. I am so happy both the drivers are still going. Yeah, Sweet Teej, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he just braked a little bit too late. He was on the inside of T-Bone into the pit lane with the wall kind of right in his way. Oh my god, that could have been a horrible situation, as now we see Krustier has DNF, so perhaps he is the reason the VSC is out, and he has left his ghosted car for us all to deal with, so thank you very much, appreciate it. Anyway, let's see if anyone, let's just take advantage, or let's take note, sorry, of who actually did pit here. Yeah, so it's going to be T-Bone and Sweet Teej who had that iconic moment, as now the VSC is ending. I'm sorry I missed that, with Zav immediately on the attack on Bella. That was a really good restart from Zav. So now they head into the turn 7. Hopefully no one outbreaks himself, with Chenzo right behind. Chenzo will look to get by Bella quickly here and continue the fight with Zav, as now Hemi is putting pressure under Kevwood. Is he going to go side by side to the castle? No. Okay, good. Thank goodness. That would be a really bad idea. Looks like we have some glitches with the timetables here. Keva gets a bad exit, bad on the traction there, which holds Hemi up. Hemi is falling back from Chenzo and Bella. And Zav is taking advantage of Bella being in front as well, pulling that gap out, trying to make something last for later. I still can't believe Sweet Teach and T-Boners are still alive. Oh my god, that was insane. Anyway, now Chenzo navigates through the fast chicane, looking to see what the closing speed is on Bella. Let's see how the setups compare here. Have some glitches in the timesheet there. Bella is moving over a lot in the straight to break the toe. And there we go. It looks like they are fixing themselves now with Chenzo definitely gaining in the straight there and on the brakes as well. Zavgav has really taken advantage though of that clear air. He is now right in the back of the next pack, which will be Rami and Zakario kind of in front of him. What'll happen into turn 3? There is some history between these two drivers as recent as last race. Will Rami leave the space on the inside? Zav has the fresher tires. Oh, so close to the inside wall, but they make it work, and that was really nice stuff there. As now the battle continues, Rami does lock up and almost push Zav into the wall, but Zav does navigate through there. And he now has the inside for the chicane of turn 5, and Zav has now made the move stick with Chenzo still behind Bella. But because of that battling, Bella is closer to Zav again. And Rami currently is ahead of his championship rival P4, so it's not a huge point difference right now in the race itself. I think it's only a 4-point difference between what Rami and Hazy would be getting. So it's not enough for obviously anything to change right now, but of course any points Rami can get, he will take. And let's see if he can keep this race clean and maybe possibly move even higher up. Chenzo is right behind Bella into turn 15. The very dangerous turn here. And I'm curious how the tire wear is already shaping out. I do think the super softs are already going to be a bit of an issue compared to these mediums. Let's see how the drivers navigate the tough chicane now. In the F2 cars, we have a yellow flag in the back. That looks like it was in the straight before turn 15. And that was Dastardly, I believe. He is still rolling, but he was stuck there for some time. So that is the cause of our second VSC of the evening on our third lap as well. So that does put a stop to the racing. We do see our first super soft runner, Zudi, popping into the pit lane. I think that's a good idea. Of course, though, he is hinging on the fact that there will be no, more dramatic stoppages like a safety car or a red flag happening. That would be the only thing to kind of screw him over. But I think if I was Zudi, I would be making a similar choice there. I just don't have the confidence those tires, particularly the super softs, are going to get to the end. So again, let's check into the tires, see how that is unfolding. Oh my goodness, no. Before I even get to say any of that, Zudi picks up the drive-through. Oh, that is crushing. So now, obviously looking back, it was not a good idea for him to pit and subject himself to that situation, because that's going to put him now at the back. Oh man. From the lead to being out of the race just like that. That is harsh. But of course, Sicario will inherit and take advantage of that. He does have a quick little hop, skip, and a jump on the curb there onto turn 7. Through the perilous castle section now. Zavgab looking to take this sprint lead. And I thought something happened there. Looks like they kept it clean though. Zav is right behind Sicario, as now I believe the DRS will be open as well. So this should definitely be a very, very easy move for Zav. Making sure he doesn't make any mistake through here. Turn 16 looks pretty clean, and we should see him sail by Sicario here into the lead. And I think this is a track where you do want to be in the lead. Yes, the DRS is very powerful, as we see Zav now getting the run, but there's so many caution flags here. You just never know when they're going to come out, and if you're in the lead and then all of a sudden there's 3 safety cars in a row, that's just what you want. You want to be, obviously ahead on the track. Anyway, Cenzo has navigated through Bella finally, and he's now looking to push up to Rami and Zavgab and Zakario. Let's see if Cenzo can make can pull in a gap to Rami here. That'd be a definite sign that Cenzo has some pace, because Rami is usually one of the fastest drivers. But we do see a safety car. I'm unsure why. Dashley is out of the session, but I don't see a stricken car anywhere on the track. So literally, I was just saying, you want to be in the lead because you never know when you could have to stop racing. And here we are with Zav now in the lead with the safety car. I imagine he is going to pit because he is on those softer tires. I just, again, don't see any way to get them to the end. So most likely you will see Zav pitting and falling to perhaps the P9 or 10 range on, of course, much fresher tires. Hopefully, yes, okay, Zudi played that very well. So Zudi managed to serve that drive-through during the very brief moment of green flag running we had there. So that was well played by Zudi. You don't want to hold on to that, and then all of a sudden a chance to get back in the race is squandered because you haven't served your penalty yet. But anyway, Zav will probably come out, I would estimate, around P9 or 10, maybe a little bit lower than that. We do see some penalties which we can investigate as well. 5 second for Sweetie with the moment with T-Bone there, I think that was. And T-Bone did also pick up a drive-through to some, I'm sure, safety car or virtual safety car infringement. So the two drivers who were right at the front at the beginning, Sweetie and T-Bone, quickly spiraling to the back, especially T-Bone there with the drive-through over his head. And that really sucks for him, because as soon as we get going, he's going to have to serve it, and that'll put him in the back. And as we see Zavgab pit now, Zakario will take the lead with Rami and Cenzo inheriting that position. How many spots will Zav fall? Looks like Bella has pitted as well as Hazy. Isasko will stay out and most likely pass Zav. Yeah, he has. Hemi does as well. And Zav has just been released from the pit lane. Is there another car coming down the straight? There might be one more getting by here. Maybe not, though. And Zavgab will filter out into P7. So, yeah, about where I expected him to be with a couple people pitting, which did help him out. And that is a pretty good position, considering he's on arguably the best tires in the field. And we do see Sweetie serving that penalty, getting the 5 second off his name. That's definitely a good idea with this kind of race. If I had to bet, I would say there's probably another safety car ahead of us. So you don't want that on your name if you can avoid it. But the one person who really is boxed into a corner because of this situation is T-Bone. And the other thing too about Baku is it's a very long track. So the more time you spend under safety car, it really, really reduces the length of the race. You know, I even perhaps wasn't doing the math properly in my head. Perhaps the super softs could get to the end if we're just crawling around like this all the time. As already we are now on lap 6 with the race most likely not getting started till I would estimate lap 7, which is pretty much lap 8. So yeah, you know, Baku, it's got the potential. It's just one of those races that unfortunately when it comes to the online racing realm, when you have different skill levels, you know, connection issues, different assists being used, things like that, and then also you can have setup variations, it makes it hard to keep these races, you know, active, because it's just so easy to find yourself in those walls. They're so close. You know, tracks like this, I think Vegas a little bit, Saudi Arabia, those are kind of the tracks that kind of get bogged down sometimes, which is unfortunate. Hopefully though, we see the racing get underway, most likely on the next lap, lap 7, and we can stay green for the remainder. Which of course, if you're T-Bone, you don't want that. If you're T-Bone, you want the caution fest to continue, because that'll allow you an opportunity to get rid of that penalty and then get right back up to the field. But we are just cruising now through the Fortress City on to lap 7 with the safety car still out due to, I believe, a dastardly DNF, which I did not see. It's been very hard to kind of keep track of the carnage just because of the amazing battles we see here in the top end of the points, particularly Chenzo, Hemi, Zav, Rami, those guys. You know, they really put on a show there, so that was awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was going to comment on this when I was finished saying my sentence, but JJ has literally picked up 2 drive-thrus since the moment I've been given a chance to talk about it. One about 15 seconds ago, and then one just now. So JJ says to T-Bone, whatever you can do, I can do better, sir. That's awful. You know, you'd think one drive-through would potentially make you wake up, but who knows? Maybe he's just throwing in the towel, looking forward to the feature race. Now we are still looking to get the race underway, but our field is spread out here. Let's go, guys. Let's get this race underway, particularly a gap between Kaz, Bella, Hazy. We need to close up here if we want to get started on this lap. Otherwise, it's going to be lap 9 where we might be getting going underway. But we'll see what happens here. Sometimes it is unpredictable. Let's also see how Zakario manages to play this restart. As we have a retirement under the safety car. Who was that? Oh my god, it was Kevin, and it was into, I believe, the wall of death. The turn 7 corner, I want to guess. I'm not 100% sure. Claims its first victim. Oh my god, I wish I caught that. Kevin, you were very lucky. You avoided that scrutiny. So in real life, that would extend the safety car period, because now the marshals have to clean up that as well. I'm not sure how this will work in the game, though. Let's see. And it's getting to the point where I believe the safety car would have turned in, and it has not. So, gentlemen, we are now heading on to the 8th lap, turning into the 9th lap when we finally get going to resume this race, and I do believe it will get going no matter what here, because we've been under safety car for quite some time. Isasko's having an awesome race. P4, I think he started at P11 or 12, which is a very, very good race for him. I think he did benefit from some chaos, but it's to his credit that he, you know, stayed out of trouble and brought his brother with him as well, Ali, right behind him, just with Hemi in between them in P6. So the Nigerians looking to get a double point finish here, which is not very often. Don't want to curse them, but let's see if they can pull that off. And the one person who I'm sure is pretty peeved off with the situation more than anyone is probably Zav, because he did put himself on that aggressive strategy, which does rely on, you know, more racing and more green flag laps for him to take advantage of his tires. But this yellow flag circus has really put a stop to that, and now he's only going to have 3 laps to see where he can get. So maybe he could have stayed out and just held on and been better off than where he is now. I did think, though, the super soft was a risky decision from the start. You know, you expect safety cars here, right? So you'd naturally think, oh, you can put the softer tires on. But the problem is, it's a sprint, so you don't have to pit. And you can get this kind of situation where there's just safety car after safety car after safety car, and all of a sudden tire wear really doesn't matter, and it's just purely about what you survive and who you battle with. And so that is why I personally would have gone on the medium, and that's why I think the people on the mediums overall are going to benefit from this situation. Anyway, let's see if Hemi can crack some positions here. I imagine he can sneak his way into the podium. He is one of the better overtakers on the grid, as we do have the safety car coming in this lap, with Sicario now leading the field onto the massive straight through Sector 3, which I think we've only gone through at racing speed maybe 2 or 3 times so far. It's to be expected, though. Anyway, let's see how Sicario plays this. This is a dangerous one. You know, if you go early, you're just putting yourself under a lot of pressure, but if you go too late, then you're going to become more predictable. And then, of course, you know, need to be careful. You don't want to go too early. and get slowed down, as now Zakaria has now accelerated. Let's see if that was well timed. Looks like he got a pretty good launch from Rami there. Rami will gain a little bit in the slipstream, but I think Zakario is far enough ahead here to hold that lead position. With the two drivers getting very, very close to each other now, heading towards the dangerous turn 2. We do see Isasko and Hemi battling into the turn, with Hemi braking earlier than Isasko, and Isasko slamming into the wall there. Hemi really taking advantage of that inside line and using his experience. Isasko may have picked up damage from that, so maybe I did curse him. And Ali as well has had a bad restart. He's in P9. And Zavgav is slicing through the field. P4. Wow. What a performance so far. That was literally one corner. He's doing well. Let's see if he can pull in the gap to the top 3 here, who will be battling very hard. Chenzo and Rami are side by side into turn 5 and 6, with Rami having the ultimate inside line and maintaining P2. What'll happen into turn 7? Very easy to outbrake. You see Rami hitting the back of Zakario there. But Zakario does hold on just by the skin of his teeth. That could easily happen, and look at how quickly Zav is closed. Zav has really taken the aggressive approach here, and it's paying off. Look at him slice through the field. He's now into P2, taking advantage of that battle and that moment between Rami and Chenzo. Wow, this is some really good racing. Look, can Zav catch up to Zakario? I think he can. You know, look how much he's gaining in one turn. Almost 3/10 there. And I don't think Chenzo will be able to keep up with him. Zav has played this absolutely perfectly. I thought the safety cars would get in his way. He needs it to be green a little bit longer, and he will take the lead. And I'm saying right now, Zav, go for it. Do not wait. Get in the lead right away. They are neck and neck down the straight, heading into turn 1. With the two drivers having similar cars in a straight line. No DRS is active yet, so they are going to maintain the side-by-side action into turn 1 with terrible camera angles. And Zav does brake later and hold the outside line, which does cause Zakario to outbrake himself and make contact on the inside. And Hazy has also gotten by Zakario. What happened to Rami there? He was right up in this position, but now the two contenders have swapped fortunes. It looks like Hazy also may have put the soft tires on, the super softs. He definitely did. Look at him. He's going to go around the outside of Chenzo into turn 3. What'll happen here? Can they keep it clean? Just enough room be given there. Awesome racing. Really good job by Chenzo and Hazy to keep it clean through there. And Chenzo will fight back, but Hazy will get the move done. So the pit stops coming into handy here in Baku with already only 2 laps remaining. There's no way I'm going to get off this battle. This is some very intense action here. What will we see here? Bella having the run on Zakario, who is struggling now on the old tires, having to brake much earlier. They do go side by side into the dangerous turn 7, but Bella ultimately gets the move done. So yeah, those new tires are absolutely essential right now. Maybe that could have set them up for failure in the feature race. That is something I do mention from time to time. They will have to share the tires. But for now, we will hold on to the action with Zav braking away and looking to sew up this sprint win from, I believe, P6, if I remember correctly. And let's just kind of take a look at the race overall. Let's see who really played their cards right. And, okay, Zav, yeah, he was up 8 positions, so perhaps he was in P9. And it looks like he has made the most of this race tonight, with Kaz also doing very well, picking up 9 positions from where he started. But here we are, on to the final lap with Zav setting the fastest lap, which does not give him any points for now, but obviously shows what kind of pace he has brought today. He was ready for this one for sure, both on the pace and the strategy. It looked kind of dicey there, not gonna lie, with only a few laps left, but you can just see how dramatic that tire wear is. You know, the rear tires, they just get destroyed, like I was saying, and that really ruins your entire pace. Look at this. Bella is clawing in on Chenzo, and Chenzo is now under threat of losing the sprint podium result. Will Bella, you know, remain behind him, or will he attack sooner? He has the opportunity to wait till the end, but who knows? Chenzo can be crafty. He might be able to get a good exit. And now we see Zudi and Isasko battling, with Zudi making the move on the inside. and Isasko losing 2 positions, hitting the wall turn 3 there. And his brother is right behind him. So overall, a disappointing race for them. They are still in the action. They're not out of it, but they have lost some positions as a team together. And Rami's now navigating the castle section, coming out through turn 12 now. Very important turn. Got to get a good run through here to get close to the car in front, which looks like he has. Does brush the wall there, but he's using all the track to open that circuit up and carry the speed down to turn 15. How is the braking look here? Looks like Rami did outbrake himself, and he's in the barrier. Oh my god, that was a huge moment. And that turn, as predicted, claims its first victim that I've seen. Rami totally missing the mark there. And that has thrown away his result, and I think that is not what he needed for this championship. Hazy will be gaining more points on him now because of that. But anyway, Bella is looking to make a move on Chenzo towards the line. Is it enough space? I think Chenzo's just going to hold on here with just a tenth separating the two at the line, with Chenzo holding on to the podium. And Sweet Tige did recover from that very, very scary moment at the start into P9. With Isasko perhaps getting the last point. I'm not actually sure. It does change sometimes, depending on how many people are actually in here. And we did see 4 drivers DNFing, which if you asked me at the start of the race was actually under what I would have predicted. I would have probably told you 7 or 8. So we did well there. But overall, kind of a pre-session with some good, really good tight action at the start and the end. Zav, awesome drive. Very, very nice strategies, very well played. And Chenzo hung on very well to maintain that P3 over Bella, who was definitely pressuring him. Wow. While the race did move slowly in some aspects, it also did fly by in others. It's a very, very intense experience sitting here watching these drivers do battle around these streets, but we will continue now into the feature race, where we will see even more crashes, I'm sure, even more penalties, even more tire wear, and of course, even more safety cars. Hopefully we see a little bit less. Sometimes sprint races can be a little crazy. But anyway, we have the podium celebration here with Zav taking the win in the ART, picking up 8 points and the fastest lap. And that call to, first of all, start on the softer, more aggressive strategy, and then pit under that last safety car, or second to last safety car, whatever it was, really paid off for him. And he didn't really have much time to do it either, so very impressive. Anyway, Hazy did pick up 8 points, and then Chenzo as well did 8 points as well, so he got the 2 points for the pole, that's right. So overall, those two did score the same amount of points through the first race here. And we do see points being scored to P8. So you tell me, last race it was P10 with 21 drivers. Now it's P8. I don't know. Anyway, Zudi is the last driver to get the point there, with Sweet Tige just missing out. And again, that highlight reel moment of Tige and T-Bone going into the pit lane was probably the most memorable moment out of that race, followed by the intense Zav, Hemi, and Chenzo opening lap. And of course, Rami's big mistake into turn 15. But Rami did actually hold on to some points there, so I don't think he actually pitted. I think he just stuck it out for, I think it was one more lap at that point. And he did scrape home to at least get something out of it. But now we move into the feature race already, where the qualifying results will, of course, carry over. And this is where I'm going to kind of get the feeling, my spidey senses are tingling a little bit, that perhaps there is some rain clouds on the way. We shall see. That will completely turn the race and put it on its head. It's not a track that is typically raced in wet conditions, and if I had to think about it, it's probably one of the worst ones to be in wet. Anyway, we are dry for now. Let's see what happens later on as we prepare for the feature race, and hopefully we will see some more green flag running this time and some more intense action. And this is our second last racing event of the season, so we do have one more race coming up. Same place, same time next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. That will be Montreal, which will be the last race of this current season. So a couple more opportunities here for the drivers to score some points and move up in some positions. But anyway, Chenzo will now inherit the pole position from qualifying. And what tires do we have? Now we see the inverse, where everyone is now on the softer tire, probably with the rain forecast that, to be honest, isn't as much as a surprise as perhaps it should be on that strategy screen, most likely. But Zav, again, going against the grain, as well as Zudi, going on the mediums. And I actually think that's a good call. If we get some solid, consistent green flag running, and that tire wear kicks in, they might be able to hang with these super soft runners and then possibly overtake some of them, because they'll be struggling out of those acceleration zones. We have a longer race ahead of us, more chances for things to go wrong, and also more fuel on the car as well. So in general, a heavier, clumsier, harder to handle car with more tire wear. Sounds like a good recipe for a great race, folks. Glad you're tuning in to the action here. And I'm curious to see what some of the drivers who DNF'd, what they can do. Excuse me. You know, there's always a good chance to reflect in these F2 events where you have a race to kind of get settled in and then a second one to kind of make up for some mistakes or bad ideas that perhaps someone had. So we'll see what the drivers can do for this longer race here, with weather potentially being a major factor later on. All right, now we are just heading through turn 15 through the old city. Very iconic architecture. And like I mentioned, the fortress that we do race by as well, almost 1,000 years old, but it's never seen anything quite like this. Flower Cup is in town for the festivities. Now we're heading down the straight with a couple drivers being DSQ'd on the formation lap. Ali and Rasta potentially getting into contact with one another, which will still allow them to race, but it will greatly disadvantage them. They will have some very cold tires to start, which will likely see them drop a couple spots compared to the people who are on the warm tires behind them. But yeah, let's see what happens into turn 2 here. That's kind of the turn to look out for. Turn 1 is very forgiving, very wide. We saw someone pull a Yui there, 360. That was Zav, very nicely maneuvered. He's just showing the drivers what'll happen if they try and race him. I'm just kidding. Anyway, we are now getting ready on the grid here for our feature race. 15 laps ahead of us, which is significantly longer than the 11 we had previously. Hopefully we have some more green flag action. And we'll keep an eye on the top 5 cars as always, because our camera angle, as you can see right now, is disgusting. Anyway, we are now set for the second race to begin, the feature race for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Flower Cup Season 1 F2. It's where we all want to be, and we are here now, getting 5 red lights ready, and we are off. And we see Hazy getting a good start there, putting his car potentially in the middle of Hazy and Zav, but ultimately having to back out. Sorry, that was Rami doing that. And now Hazy does lose some positions. What happened in turn 2? We did see Zakario hit the wall there. Was that Bella? I'm not sure. That caused some kerfuffle. People are struggling out of the turn 2 acceleration zone here with lots of tires being swapped. Or rear ends being swapped, I should say. But looks like we have survived for now, with Chenzo maintaining his lead. And Zav behind Hemi, who is behind Chenzo, and the 2 in front are on the fresher tires, of course. So it's crucial for Zav. He needs to stay with them, which is going to be very hard, admittedly. But he needs to stay with them. If he does, he can take advantage of those tires wearing out. And ultimately, it's going to be outside of his control. He needs the track to remain green and the racing to remain as well. Otherwise, the tire situation doesn't really matter. We did see a yellow flag back here, but I don't see anyone out of the race, so we did make through there. And top 5 are relatively close on track as we head through the first lap here, with Hemi definitely keeping Chenzo on guard, with Zav losing a lot of time there, probably through the castle section where that grip is really going to be making the difference. He is being pressured as well by Hazy on the super soft, so you can see a big discrepancy in speed right now between the tires, but I promise you that will not last very long, as now we see Hemi 2.5 tenths behind Chenzo in P2. What kind of a straight line speed does he have in comparison to Chenzo in front, with the slipstream of course helping him out? It's going to be close here, with potentially a move being on the cards. Hemi is gaining, he's going to move to the inside here for turn 1, which is where you want to be. The two super soft tires inches apart from each other, with just enough room being left there on the outside for Chenzo to hold his line into turn 2. Can they keep it clean again? This is the tough one. Chenzo barely gets by, but just enough room is left. That was remarkable. High quality stuff. And now Hazy is putting Zav under pressure as well. Into turn 3. We do see Hemi getting the move done on Chenzo there, making it stick. And Hazy as well pretty much copies him into turn 3 on the inside, with the tires making the difference. Bella is right here as well. Can he put Zav under pressure? This is not going Zav's way. Perhaps the delta was just a little bit too extreme right now. But it just depends on when that rain comes and how often we're going to be going at racing speed here. Dastardly's doing well into P10. And Leader is having a good race as well. Right behind Tilmo into P12. Kaz is battling the ghost of Krusty. Again, if you're going to race and if you have to leave, obviously it's kind of hard to do in this F2 format, but if you can, please retire your car so it gets out of people's way. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. Chenzo is behind Hemi, still, maintaining a respectable gap, but Hemi is slowly getting away. And Hazy has a big moment there over the curb through the treacherous turn 15, does hit the wall, but the F2 cars are actually pretty robust, and sometimes they can take little impacts like that. And perhaps he's okay, but that was very close to repeating what Rami did in the sprint race. Anyway, Dastardly is still doing well with Isasko right behind Sweet Tiege. And you can hear the lift through there, so yeah, still a problem through that high-speed chicane. And Chenzo is now getting close to Hemi. Hemi brakes much earlier than Chenzo, perhaps a missed braking point. Chenzo does do well, though, to recover, but Hemi potentially panics and moves to the outside, hitting the outside wall, which causes his end plate to be lost there. Oh, that's just so unfortunate. That's clearly a racing incident, and and Chenzo did well to avoid Hemi, but of course the looming Prima coming on the inside definitely affected Hemi there, and now he will be suffering. And that has completely changed the outlook of this race. Bella is still putting pressure under Zav, but I think Zav has now survived the kind of initial storm, the initial kind of first round, so to speak. And now you're going to see him slowly eke back that advantage. These tires will fall off very quickly. Perhaps they will begin to equalize as early as next lap, and then drastically will be in Zav's favor. Let's see how quickly the rain comes. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1, but still no safety cars, which is awesome. Because, yeah, it was a little bit too bogged down last race. Here we have lots of green flag action to sink our teeth into. And Chenzo and Hemi are keeping it close up here. Looks like Hemi actually isn't doing too bad, considering he has a damaged wing, most likely. Might not be the worst damage in the world, but I promise you it will be affecting him. These F2 cars need all of the aerodynamics they can get, and any little piece you knock off is a problem that I believe is magnified more so with these cars than F1 cars. And Zav is starting to now slowly get some breathing room. Is it enough, though, to keep Bella off his tail? Let's see. Zav will not have the DRS, and he just squeaks through the high-speed chicane there. You heard that bang. That was Zav's rear left tire just scraping the barrier. He got very, very lucky there. That was close. But of course, he's pushing the limits. He's trying to create as much space between him and Bella behind. But the longer this goes on, Zav will start to speed up. And speaking of that, we do see the clouds rolling in, which suggests to me the rain is not very far away. I imagine it's going to hit us around lap 6. I'm going to guess right now. Maybe as early as lap 5. Maybe it was just not enough time for Zav to take advantage. And now it's not going to help because Bella is battling him with the DRS assistance. Zav does push Bella to the outside, but the two do keep it clean. Bella is on the inside to turn 4. Bella's making it difficult for Zav here, not doing him any favors. But they keep it clean again, leaving each other lots of room. They head through the chicane now with Zav on the inside initially, but then being on the outside. And scratch that, I did see the first droplets of rain already on lap 4. So the rain has come very early here, and this is going to be treacherous. I imagine the grip is going to drop dramatically on these streets, with the weather most likely moving to the wet tire within the next lap or two, if I had to guess from previous races. I'm really just checking turn 7 here because I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to claim someone's race. Oh, Kevwood almost just survives the turn there. JJ getting perilously close, but looks like we have gotten through there for the most part. And I think you're going to want to pit here right away. This is a long, long lap, and it's going to be really painful on dry tires and potentially very dangerous with the walls being inches away from some of these apexes. I imagine everyone is going to go into the pit lane here. If you're not, you had to be crazy. And Hemi will go in, but Chenzo says, you know what, Greg, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I'm staying out. One more lap. And Hemi picks up the 5 second, which tells me the grip is dropping. The 5 second for speeding, and looks like Zav somehow passed Bella through the pit lane. We do see a yellow flag happening as well. This pit lane is going to claim someone here. Isasko hit the barrier. Rasta gets through there cleanly. Dastardly survives. T-Bone, not this time. He will survive the pit lane wall. Tilmo, can he make it through? Oh, the rear end locking! Oh, he hits the inside wall, and he loses 2 positions, and I think someone hit him in behind. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. Kevwood, I think, got collected by Tilmo's car. Oh my god, that was insane. I love just anticipating things before they happen. It just makes it so much better. But now the safety car is out because of that. And Chenzo had some balls there. And he made the right call. That was awesome. I think, you know, that's also another thing to consider, right? If I go out an extra lap, okay, will someone crash behind me in these conditions? Because you know someone's going to try it. With potentially this being the only pit stop on the cards, you know someone's going to try and do something. So I think Chenzo perhaps foresaw this outcome. And if he did, well played. And if not, well, luck has favored his side today. Hemi really had no kind of benefit from that situation. He went in, now has older tires, and a 5 second penalty on his name, which he will only be able to get rid of if he pits again. So that was kind of the one of the worst kind of sequences of events for Hemi there. Going from in the lead to immediately on the back foot, because of the safety car coming out. And let's see, you know, will we have to pit again, right? Like, the wet tires are going to be under a lot of strain. They might not even function very well. I have noticed in my previous experience that the rear end does get a little bit punished in these conditions, and that's like on a normal track. That is not on a track that demands so much of them like this, so potentially we could be seeing another pit stop again. But Chenzo now held out there. I will say, whatever reason, Chenzo seems to be the safety car whisperer. Seems to just know exactly what's going to happen. He makes the right call most of the time with, I think that was JJ picking up a penalty. I didn't actually see what penalty that was. drive-through. That's what I thought for a second. That is catastrophic for him. You can see the rain has definitely come very quickly. Yeah, so Hemi goes in again. So actually, I think that was probably Hemi's best bet. He will, of course, suffer and lose positions, but he does have a chance to get that 5-second off. But he will now have to really bite down on that mouth guard, so to speak, and hang in there and make some moves happen while obviously trying to stay alive. Will we see Sweet Tej and Isasko getting by? Hemi does have the inside with the pit lane, and it's going to be very close. Sweet Tej is just behind though, so Hemi is going to be in P7 on the freshest tires out of anyone here, and 2 laps, even under safety car, will actually make a sizable difference. Not as dramatic as perhaps we saw in the race last race with Zav, but he will have the advantage, a couple percentage points lower on the wear, so that'll help him out. And then yeah, I imagine unless we get bogged down in the safety cars again, we might be seeing another pit stop potentially on the horizon. And who knows, maybe the rain will stay, maybe it'll go away as well. That can change. Safety cars do slow the race down, so they do also extend the time as well, and it allows the game to cook some more things up, shall we say. Anyway, we see the drivers navigating through the castle section. Don't want to see anyone crashing through here on the formation lap. That would just be embarrassing. Typically, one of the most fearsome and difficult corners on the entire F1 calendar is this little castle section. I think it's the most narrow corner on the entire calendar, and it's not the slowest corner. It's actually pretty quick compared to how tight it is. I think it's usually a 3rd gear corner kind of thing in an F1 car, so just kind of verging on the slow medium speed area. And I think the key to the castle section is just to treat it like any other corner. Don't get intimidated by the walls, by the tightness. You're going to start making mistakes, you're going to start braking too much, you're going to turn too early, turn too late. Just view it like any other corner. You got to hit that apex. Anyway, we're now hopefully going to get started soon here, with I think one more lap being in the way between us and the rest of the race. The field has spread out here. There has been quite a bit of carnage. Not as much as I thought. JJ's the only person to DNF, and I think he just kind of gave up there because I think he got the drive-through, if I remember. So there's been some close calls and some definite, bad incidents, but overall it could be a lot worse for these drivers. So one more look at the tires just to see the exact information here. So yeah, 1 lap tire life for most people, and then 2 lap tire life for the others, which yeah, it's not a huge difference, but it's something. It's a long track, it'll demand a lot of the rear tires even if you are cruising, so it's something to keep in the back of your mind. And I think this is really going to set the stage for a classic performance from Hemi. He might not have the pace to get the win here. I'd say in F1 he probably could, but maybe not here. But he will put on a charge for sure, and I think he's going to get through a lot of these drivers, potentially looking to pressure Zavgav or Sicario for the last kind of podium spot. That's my prediction for him, and he could probably even do better than that if he has fortune on his side. Zudi and Kaz having an awkward moment there under the safety car. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we see Kaz taking out Zudi. What are you doing, bro? That's just not worth their time. Wow. And you can even see Zudi is not even retaliating, and Kaz is just trying to mess his race up. That's awesome. Wish I didn't scroll there, but now we've highlighted that. Anyway, Zav is going to be right behind the 2 leaders, hopefully looking to get started. Is it going to get started on this lap? I'm not sure. The field is very spread out because people like to play bumper cars and don't like to get in the formation lap, the safety car lap grid. But we will forget about that for now and move on. What is the holdup back here? Oh, it's just Zudi probably recovering from whatever bumper cars he was engaged in there. Don't know what led to that. Obviously, people can get frustrated. Things happen. But again, it's racing. Mistakes happen. Zudi's not the kind of guy that I imagine would be taking people out on purpose. We did see Kevwood, I think, blowing the braking zone into turn 15, which gives Zudi another position. And now we see some drivers pitting, so I think they are looking to get those freshest tires on the cars, which, if you watch Zav last race, was a really good idea. And we did see a 5-second being given out to leader for, I think, hitting T-Bone there. Not sure what happened there. Looks like T-Bone is in the back of the pack, so perhaps maybe they caught the pack and it just kind of it was a little bit unexpected. Anyways, Acario is going to come out in P13. It is. Oh, that was really close. P13 behind Zudi on the fresh tires. Let's see if he can battle back. But this is taking a long time. Whoever is in the pit now, Kevwood is really going to have a tough time, I think, catching the field here. I believe it's going to go in this lap. Solrak as well is really going to have a tough time, I think. Yeah, there's just a big gap there between leader and Zudi, which will kind of be insurmountable with the amount of laps we have left. But hopefully he'll claw that in, because they're going to be going very slow down the straight. Hopefully everyone can form up and we can get the race going with everyone being together. Dastardly is having a good race. He's hanging in there in P9. I want to see Dastardly have a mistake-free end to this race. It's getting now to the second half, with the safety car being out for quite some time now. This is going to be a very difficult one for Dastardly to see through to the end. Just a very hard combination. Baku in the wet is not something people are prepared for, especially in F2 cars. But here we have the announcement now from Race Control. The safety car will be going in, with some drivers still being quite a ways away from the rest of them in the pack. Kevwood in particular might not be able to close up here. Oh, we have a 5-second between Hemi and Rami, and Hemi's picked up another 5. What happened there? Oh man, I thought they fixed that. It used to be a big problem in these games. If you used to breathe on someone, it would give out a 5-second penalty. Now it kind of has to be more severe, so I would have loved to see that. But anyway, what's happening here is some positions being changed and some time being lost. And now Chenzo has taken advantage. He sees that in the mirror. He has gone. And there is a gap now of 1.3 seconds between P4 Bella and P3 Zav. That is a big, big gap for the restart. But anyway, Hazy is directly behind Chenzo. However, he goes a little deep there, and Zav looks to perhaps challenge for a second, but the conditions are difficult. You have to brake very, very cautiously. It's very easy to lock up, as we see Hazy go straight on there, and I don't even think Hazy has ABS off, so that shows you how hard it is to brake in these conditions, with Hemi having the 5-second over his head now, and that's going to really suck for him. Anyway, what other battles can we pay attention to? We have Dastard going on the outside of T-Bone into turn 3 with a little bit of contact in the rear, but Dastard makes the move stick. Well done, sir. Wow. Keep it together, my friend, and you can even move up higher than that. Rami is currently battling leader, who is having a bit of difficulties there. Looks like he was on the power there, not shifting up, and he did spin out. Potentially just being a little bit trigger happy with the throttle. He is sideways, but the ghosting is finally working and the cars are passing by him, so no one is collected in that. And no... Oh, no, never mind. That has brought out the safety car again, so that will most likely see us through to, I want to say, lap 12 or 13. This is interesting now. Do you suffer, for lack of a better word, and stay out here on your old tires, or do you pit and put a lot of drivers potentially in front of you with I want to say 6 laps left to go potentially. 3 of them being at full speed, I want to guess. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 4. That could be a long time on these old wets. Let's see what happens here. I don't envy being Chenzo right now. He is kind of the guinea pig. I feel like what he does will affect the entire race. If he doesn't pit, I feel like a lot of people will stay out. If he does pit, I think a lot of people will copy him. Let's see what he does here. Will he turn left? Will he stay right? Crucial, crucial moment in the race here. The win hanging in the balance. He will stay out and look to potentially take those tires to the end. And actually, thinking about it now, so looking at the tires, that's actually probably the correct move, because one thing perhaps I didn't touch on too much is where those fresher tire runners are. Zaccario is the closest guy, but he's in P10. So that's a lot of cars in between him and Chenzo in the lead. So looking back with the facts we have, I think that was the right call. But of course, we will see how it plays out. The rain has become very, very intense here. I imagine this is going to be some very difficult conditions for these drivers. And look at that, folks. Dastardly Daddy up 13 positions into P6. I really, really hope, and I'm hoping against all hopes, and I'm knocking on every wood surface nearby that I can see, that he can maintain that position, or at least maintain a points-paying position. Because he definitely needs one. He's earned one. And he's been looking really good today. He's kept it clean. He's kept his nose clean. I think he's stayed out, besides obviously pitting onto the wet tire. And, you know, he's had the kind of race where he's made the most of it. So he's definitely my driver of the day, for sure, right now. But we will see how this plays out. He's got to finish this off here. Let's see what lap this safety car goes in. I think it's going to be the next one, if I had to guess. There is some separation still, and I believe we haven't done the maximum behind the safety car. I was interrupted there because Hemi flirted with the wall there. I think he is still being affected by that damage earlier. If that was even the same race, I don't even remember now. But that was so close under the safety car. That could have been disastrous for him and also the drivers behind. I don't think the ghosting really works very well in the safety car situation. So that was very close. And I don't think the safety car is going in here. Yeah, the lights are still on. It will be going straight. We do see a penalty being given out to Solrak for corner cutting. Hemi and Zav briefly changed positions there. Not sure what happened there, but they have straightened it out. The penalties, I guess, are not as much of a factor tonight because, I mean, if you go cut the track, there's usually going to be a wall in your way, so if you ask me, that's one way to solve the current track limits problem we have in the real F1, is just go full Baku and put some walls everywhere. That'll make it very simple, because it's pretty hard to get a penalty here. Usually, if you get one, you would have had to make some pretty serious mistakes and also get lucky not to crash. But anyway, we're now on to lap 11, so we will most likely, excuse me, get ready on lap 12 for the remainder of the race, and that will most likely be green flag running till the very end. So we will see most likely 4 laps, I guess, of racing action. And I'll tell you right now, this rain is not going away because this is some very, very heavy stuff. In real life, this would probably be red flagged. You know, the visibility would be so bad, but in the F1 game, we can kind of get away with it. Through turn 7, which hasn't claimed as many people as I thought it would. Perhaps people did heed my warning I did give to them before the race began. That's usually a hot spot for some wings being lost, but not as much tonight. I mean, I haven't been able to see everything. It's hard to keep track of when there's such close action going on, particularly at the top end of the field. That's where we want to obviously pay attention to. What's going on here with Kevwood and Kaz? There's a little tortoise in the hare style race going back here. Wonder what led to that. Anyway. Will the safety car go in? It hasn't been announced yet. I thought it would have been, but it is. We are still waiting for the grid to bunch up here. Perhaps we have one more lap to do. So in the end, I think pitting for any new wet tire was definitely not the good call. If we can, you know, look back, but who knows? I don't have access to that information. Perhaps it is tougher than it may appear. And we have one more safety car lap. Are you kidding me? Of course. Okay, so yeah, one more lap of yellow flags. And I guarantee you now it will be going away next lap. And yeah, again, this is usually why I love the surface. Like, I love the idea of racing in Baku, and like the surface idea of it is awesome. Seems like a good idea, but then when you actually go and do it, you're just sitting here recovering crashes left, right, and center. Perhaps the rain was a bit too much for the drivers to handle. And yeah, that's another thing. If you're going to leave the session, you have to keep the other drivers in mind. I know you're frustrated, Kaz, but you left the session and you left your car on track, which is now doing the very thing that you were mad at Zudi for doing. So, if you ask me, it's not a best look for you, my friend. Hopefully you learn from that. Anyway, Kevwood's going to pit for fresh tires, which I think if you're him, why not? But the race is going to get going here. So, I think, honestly, Zav's best opportunity is going to be on this initial launch. They both have the same tire life. Hemi now really has no chance to win this race unless there's a massive collision or some event like that that gives him a good gap. It's probably going to be between Zav and Chenzo, most likely to take the win here. Can Zav get the back-to-back sprint and feature win? Let's see. His best opportunity is going to be on this restart. Just pay very, very close attention to what Chenzo's doing. You know, go as soon as you notice him going or you think he's about to go, and just use that slipstream as much as you can. Chenzo's probably going to either go extremely late or extremely early. Either looking to minimize the distance of the straight or catch Zav off guard. This is the race win now, in the balance. Because I do think with the rain now playing a factor, it is looking pretty hard to get a move done out there. So this may be it. The best opportunity for the win. When will Chenzo drop the hammer? It's got about 2/3 of the straight left. Zav is studying his car, I'm sure, getting ready to pounce. Chenzo has now gone, and he does lose the rear end there, but Zav looks like did as well. Kevwood retires from the session, looks like he just didn't catch up. And now Chenzo has played that well, maintaining a good enough gap to ward off any attack, I'm sure, from Zav as we head into turn 1. Hazy and T-Bone and Dastard are close on track. Oh! Who was that going in the wall? I think that was Zudi or T-Bone, but Dastard makes it through. I was cringing there. I thought that was Dastard for a second. Come on, Dastard. 3 more laps. Oh my god, there's a huge misbreak in front. I think that was Zudi just kamikazing into the wall. And unfortunately, that is not what Dastardly needed. He's in P9. Oh, such bad luck for the overseeing master of the league, shall we call him. Oh, I'm gutted for Dastardly. He's hit from behind. from Isasko. Oh my goodness. I think that was perhaps the most dramatic and sad downfall I think I perhaps have ever seen in a race in my life. I am gutted for Dastardly right now. He did not deserve any of that. None of that was his fault, and he was totally taken out there by several cars. And I don't know how Zudi survived that. He was going into the wall at like Mach 2. And I don't know how anyone didn't DNF there. Anyway, Chenzo is holding on to the lead. I don't think Zav will be able to mount too much of a challenge going down the next straight here. Chenzo looks like has the pace to get this done. And I think Hemi might have been able to throw his hat into the ring, but that penalty is proving to be the difference maker. Perhaps it could be removed. I'm not sure what the situation on that is. It was due to a pit lane, safety car contact with Rami. Oh, and we see both Hazy and T-Bone going into the wall simultaneously. Like synchronized swimmers there. And that's practically what they are with them out of the water on the track. This is nuts. I'm sure that braking zone is very difficult now, being downhill and off camber like that with the wall right in front of your face. If that was F1, I think they'd be out for sure, but they're still going. And now Rasta is battling his fellow Quebecer Sweet Tige into turn 1. What'll happen here? Will Sweet Tige look to attack back? Rasta definitely breaks her later. Was that too late? I think it was. He almost hits the wall there. Just enough room to make the turn, but Sweet Tige undercuts him and plays that very well. Just showing some experience and some patience there, braking at the right moment. And Rasta just flirted with death there a little bit. Hazy's now right behind Sicario. I think Sicario is on the fresher tires though, so I don't know if Hazy can attack. Let's see if he does. This will be dangerous. And Hazy thinking better of it. Probably a good idea. You know, maybe it would have been a good enough range for dry, but wet, maybe not. Sicario barely makes the corner though, which allows Hazy to battle back around the outside of turn 4. And he does successfully repass Sicario, with T-Bone now closing right up behind them. Do see some battling down in the very last positions with Rami retiring from the session. What happened to him? Solrak, I think, did make contact with him. I didn't see that, and that is catastrophic for his championship, guys. I think Hazy might have just secured the championship now with one race left to go. I don't know exactly what the points totals are right now, but that was disastrous for Rami, who has looked really good all season. That's put Hazy in the prime seat, as now Zudi has also retired. Dastardly is trying to get back into the points where he should have finished, if you ask me. That's where he deserved to be. But he's had to really deal with some bad hands, some bad luck tonight that have been dealt to him. And he's just outside of the points. How crushing would that be to get a P11 after a race like this? And I think his car is definitely damaged. Look how much he had to lift there through that section. And he broke too late there and did hit the wall very, very hard. I don't know how he's still going, but yeah, he's not going to be able to catch these guys if his car is broken. Speaking of, Bella and Isasko are very close, heading down the straight now with Chenzo crossing the line for the final lap. We'll get back up to that in a second, but let's see what happens here. Oh, Isasko just brushes the wall there, but he just turns enough to avoid a big crash. How will the straight line speed compare? Looks like Isasko has more. He's pulling away in the straight line. That is a trademark Isasko setup for sure. And Bella is going to have to maintain his position behind Isasko, but Isasko totally outbrakes and gives that position up to Bella, who will take P9 off his hands. That was very close to Isasko ending his race altogether there. Anyway, though, at the front, Chenzo has maintained a similar gap to Zav as I imagined. It's just very hard to get a run on someone in these conditions. You just run out of track by the time you are close enough. And we see a big lock in the rear there. Zav's definitely pushing really hard to do anything he can to claw this win back. Oh, he's got to be careful in the castle section. That was very precarious. Sweet Tige and Rasta navigating turn 7 now. They make it through. T-Bone looks like he does as well. But Chenzo now getting very close to the end of this race. Solrak retires on the last lap. Huge lock up there from, I think, Chenzo and Zav. We particularly with Zav there, we really heard that one. As long as Chenzo can navigate this, I think he's okay. I think the grip is dropping. We hear a lot of tires locking out there. These are some very tough conditions. But Chenzo will navigate his car successfully through the fast chicane. Yes, he does. Zav hits the wall. Trying to get everything out of that run. Trying to pressure Chenzo, but it's just not going to be enough. Will anyone be claimed through here? Let's do a flyby comparison as we see Chenzo, I'm sure, taking the win any second now. There he is. Sweet Tige makes it. Will Hazy make it? Yes. Rasta? Perhaps the drivers have some experience now under their belt, because this was a dangerous one throughout the event tonight. Is Bella going to make it? He's a little wide. Oh, he does get through there. And Isasko does have a damaged car. He's going to make it have a very difficult time through that turn, but he does survive. So overall, you have Chenzo taking the win, 3.8 tenths over Zavgab, who had a very solid weekend, with Hemi behind them, unfortunately, kind of being taken out of the race there. I mean, he did finish P3 anyway on track, but at that 5 second perhaps did ruin some of the motivation. Sweet Tige has a solid P4 finish with Rasta right behind him after that big mistake into turn 1. And I'm not sure who was after that. I'll give you that information right away. I gotta say though, just looking back right now, I'm still heartbroken for Dastardly. I might lose some sleep over that one tonight. He was done so dirty there. And of course, it's no one's fault. I'm not accusing anyone of that. It's racing. Things happen. But man, my jaw is on the floor still from that moment. Anyway, we see the podium celebration of the feature race here with Chenzo taking the win. Actually, no, that's actually Zav's driver, but Chenzo did leave the session, and Chenzo was in the lead. So this podium celebration is incorrect. Chenzo did pick up the win, but looks like he left a little bit too early. So the game did delete his finish there. But it was Chenzo taking the win, which... I'm going to be honest, guys, in the future, please don't leave that early, because it does make things difficult, because now I'm not sure exactly how things were. Anyway, I think I was talking about Sweet Tige. Zakario was after him. And then we had, I think it was T-Bone, Bella, Isasko, and Dastardly gets 1 point. So at least Dastardly has something to hang his hat on. I think he could have had a lot more, but at least he gets something for his efforts today. And looks like Chenzo had the pole, and I don't know who actually had the fastest lap there. I think it was Hemi, if I am not mistaken. So that was a pretty, it was an okay race. It wasn't the most exciting one. We did have some really tasty moments, some good dramatic action, of course, some things to discuss moving forward. But unfortunately, we did see the kind of Baku effect where we were just kind of under safety car for the majority of the race. So yeah, hopefully next time we'll make it a little bit more clean. But otherwise, it's been an awesome event tonight. I have still enjoyed it. Hopefully the drivers have as well. That looked like it was really hard, honestly, especially that wet race. That looked like it was very punishing and very difficult to keep things on the track. But congratulations to those who did. And again, congratulations to Zav and Chenzo for picking up the wins today. That should see Hazy now, I believe, with enough points to clinch that Drivers' Championship. And Rami will kind of be locked into P2 because of that. And Zav will gain some good points on T-Bone for P3. So one more race is left, which will be next Tuesday at Montreal. Another dangerous high-speed circuit with lots of walls to crash into. I will see you then. Hopefully you have enjoyed the festivities tonight. As always, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, comment buttons, do all that good stuff. Spread the word. Show this to your friends. So they don't think you're totally crazy when you tell them you spend half your life racing virtually. Anyway, that's been enough for me. Your host, Greg Jennings. Hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast. I will see you next Tuesday for Montreal. Same time, same place. Goodbye for now. Have a good night.